Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is BestInSlot with your update news for Jurassic World Evolution, because yesterday, 2 brand new, as of yet unknown DLCs were added to the SteamDB for the game. And this is basically DLCs that are being worked on, files are being tested, they're being put into the game in a kind of a test developer capacity. So these are 2 DLCs being worked on right now on the way to Jurassic World Evolution. Big shout out to Reddit user Reply671, who I believe we've featured before, for being the first ones, I think, to post this online and letting us all see it. Very exciting. Of course, we did already have a DLC listed on the DB. This one right here was posted a couple months ago. That came online about 24 hours after Claire's Sanctuary was actually released. So we do have some theories about what these could be. We're going to talk about that a little bit into the video, and we're also going to get unnecessarily hyped because 3 DLCs I think is the most we've ever had at one point. It is worth pointing out these are DLCs, these aren't free updates. The free updates like the Fallen Kingdom pack, you can see, is actually not in the list. Everything here, including Jingle Jam, did involve money in some way. For Jingle Jam, for those who don't remember, was actually the Yogscast Humble Bundle thingamajiggy back at Christmas where you could unlock an Ankylosaurus skin. Anyways, let's move on. Let's talk about what we think these DLCs could possibly be. One of them, and by far the most backed up and obvious one right now, DLC number 1 is probably the 1993 pack based on the original Jurassic Park. There are many reasons for us to believe that this DLC is on the way, and that this is probably the DLC we found here 2 months ago, just after Claire's Sanctuary. Now, the reason we believe it's probably that one is because we did find files that relate to 1993 Jurassic Park pretty soon after Claire's Sanctuary came out. The visitor center, stuff like that, new profile pictures for some actors who were in the original film. We are like 90% sure that this DLC is on the way. And there's other reasons backing that up. For example, we do have the 4chan leak. And one of the things it mentions really early on in the very first post is that we're getting a 1993 Jurassic Park DLC for Jurassic World Evolution, and that would be coming out in December or something like that. It would be like Claire's Sanctuary, it would be like Secrets of Doctor Wu, it would be a big story expansion. Now, not only do we have the files, not only do we have a 4chan leak backing this idea up, but there were rumours way before the leak, back in the, when the game first came out, that originally Jurassic World Evolution was going to have a tutorial mode which allowed you to play through a section of Jurassic Park 1993, and then it would all go to hell or something and you'd be whipped into modern day and you'd kind of rectify the mistakes of the past. That was, by all intents and purposes, as far as we know from what people have said, meant to be in the game at launch. And we've kind of did a little video on this in the past. If you look at the initial footage I got myself from Frontier last year in Los Angeles, Isla Matanceros had a little tag saying modern day, or present day even, suggesting we'd travelled forward in time. And yet when the game actually came out for release, that present day was cut because that time skip was no longer in the game. Either way, there's a lot of reasons to think this 1993 DLC is on the way. Least of all, it would be immensely popular. It's also worth noting that a DLC like this would really suit the new campaign style they brought in with Claire's Sanctuary, wherein it is a separate campaign from the main game. That would make a lot more sense with this kind of time travel aspect. So pretty confident in saying that this is DLC number 1. Number 2 and 3, they're going to require a little bit more speculation. But we do have a pretty good idea. DLC number 2, one of those 2 packs, is probably a dinosaur pack. They both could be, we'll get into that. But we've long suspected that, I don't know what that would mean, but I'm excited about it. We've long suspected that we would be getting a herbivore pack in Jurassic World Evolution, and that's because of this dinosaur over here and this dinosaur over here. The Pachyrhinosaurus and the Coronosaurus are both referenced in the files for Jurassic World Evolution, suggesting a herbivore pack featuring both of those dinosaurs. The leak also suggested a Musaurus. Is it that how you pronounce it? Everyone calls it Musasaurus. I call it Musasaurus all the time, but it's definitely Musaurus or Musaurus. I'm imagining Musaurus. Musaurus was also suggested in the pack, or a dinosaur beginning with M. They believed it to be Musaurus. So the idea is a herbivore pack featuring these 3 is a pretty logical thing. We found 2 of them in the files already, and there is of course the mention of the Mosaurus ready for... It was meant to be in Claire's Sanctuary. We believe that Euoplocephalus was actually brought in as a replacement dinosaur, and Mosaurus was maybe delayed or cut altogether. We'll have to wait and see. There are other options, Homalocephali and Dryosaurus, stuff like that, although I think they maybe would go into a 1993 Jurassic Park pack if one were to exist. Worth noting for this little pack over here, by the way, what was rumoured, of course, is a story-based component. You'd meet a lot of the old characters, you would, try to build the original Jurassic Park, we'd get access to the old buildings, the classic visitor centre, the classic truck, jeep, ranger vehicle, what do I call it? You'd get access to the classic, Ford Explorer, but there were also suggestions that some of the dinosaurs, specifically I imagine the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Velociraptors, would be receiving remodels to more match their original iteration. That's not a guarantee, but it'd be a very cool thing to have like these alternate personas for our dinosaurs. Anyway, let's go back. So I'm not confident in saying this, but I mean, we did find Kronosaurus, we did find Pachyrhinosaurus. It definitely suggests a herbivore pack. There isn't too much in common that we could find, say, a third dinosaur that's a carnivore. It's worth mentioning we did already have a carnivore pack earlier this year, so it makes a little more sense to have a herbivore pack. And we did just get paleobotany added to the game as well, so adding more dinosaurs that could take advantage of that paleobotany mechanic would seem to be fairly logical. Now, this is where we go a little harder on the speculation, because Dinosaur or DLC 3 is a little bit more wishy-washy. What we think it could be is Battle at Big Rock. Now, Battle at Big Rock is a dinosaur short. It's an animated short. No, it's like a real-life short with obviously animated dinosaurs, because dinosaurs are dead. Or for the Navian dinosaurs, you get my point. The point is, Battle at Big Rock was going to be like a 15-minute little story, film, thingamajiggy that was meant to play in the cinema before the recent Hobbs & Shaw Fast and Furious film. Now, for some reason, it got delayed. We know that it was on the way, we knew it was coming, we had seen the two main characters in it, the Nasutoceratops, and this is an Allosaurus. Obviously it looks different from the Jurassic World variant of Allosaurus, the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom Allosaurus, I should say. We can see they've got kind of dramatic designs, the Allosaurus has all these spikes and a very sort of striking colour scheme. The Nasutoceratops is hella colourful, and they actually match each other colour-wise just a little bit as well. We don't really know much else about Battle at Big Rock other than it was meant to be a short film featuring these two dinosaurs at least, and taking place before Hobbs & Shaw. We have no idea why it was delayed. I have seen people suggest maybe it's been delayed to hype up the Jurassic World 3 a little bit more, to coincide with Jurassic World 3 a little bit more. I don't think that's the case for a couple of reasons. One, as you can see, we do already have merchandise for Battle at Big Rock. It seems unlikely that this would be made and produced if Battle at Big Rock wasn't going to come out till 2021. And further to that, we do have Jurassic World content coming out next year already. Camp Cretaceous is coming to Netflix. That's an animated Jurassic World series that's coming to Netflix next year. We also have a new Lego Jurassic World series on the way. So Universal are clearly pushing this multimedia approach to Jurassic World, and I don't think they would waste time delaying this when there's so much other content on the way. Probably plenty of stuff we haven't heard of as well. We also believe, if I remember correctly, that both of these dinosaurs made it into Jurassic World, or Jurassic World Alive at least. I think we saw some portraits somewhere. The point is, I really don't think it's been delayed that much. If I had to guess why it's been delayed, maybe they wanted it closer to Christmas for the merchandising push. Maybe they decided to push more merchandising. Maybe one of the games or one of the other multimedia tie-ins with Battle at Big Rock couldn't quite hit the deadline, so they held the whole thing back so they can, do it as a big sort of event kind of thing when it actually happens. Maybe they found a film more appropriate for Jurassic World. Hobbs & Shaw seems like a decent one. It's an action blockbuster at the end of the day, which is pretty much what Jurassic World is these days. But maybe they found something a little bit more family friendly, maybe something a little bit more targeted to kids that they're going to want Battle at Big Rock to take place in. So, DLC 3 could be Battle at Big Rock. My other hesitation as to why that probably isn't the case, although I really don't know, this is speculation, is I think if Battle at Big Rock was going to be released, I think it would be free. I think it would add maybe an alternate Allosaurus and then Pseudoceratops, and I don't think it would be charged. Like with Fallen Kingdom, that was tying into a film, this would be tying into something, and it's kind of like just a nice little free push for the merchandise and stuff like that. You're playing Evolution, you're playing with this great looking Pseudoceratops or whatever, and you think, oh, I would like to go buy that toy. Merchandise is where money is made, it really is. So Personally, I'm not sure on this, but it is possible. There are other ideas. Of course, it could be another dinosaur pack. We did get 2 dinosaur packs in the gap between Secrets of Dr. Wu and Claire's Sanctuary, but it is worth remembering that the first pack, the Cretaceous pack, came out right after Secrets of Dr. Wu. It came out 1 month later, and the Carnivore pack came out 1 month before Claire's. So there's still this massive gap we had. You know, we all felt that massive gap of news and information earlier this year. It was terrible. The first 6 months of this year just sucked. But the point is, yes, there were 2 packs, but I suspect partly that was just because there was such a huge gap between Wu's and Claire's. They had to fill it with something, and even then it was only right after and right before the other DLCs. So that has potential. I just don't think we have any... I mean, that's possibly even likely, but I think if it is another dinosaur pack, we'd have to see the first one relatively soon. It could be a skin pack. That's something we haven't seen before. That's something they haven't done in the game quite yet. But it makes sense. A lot of people have been complaining about the skins and stuff like that for particular dinosaurs. Mentioning no names, I definitely never complain about the skins. But that could definitely be a thing as well. I don't know what they do. There is a slight thing in the game where I don't really know how it works. I'm not technical enough to know how it works in terms of game design. But all the skins are the same, and then the texture's slightly changed, and it's like impossible to have more than 2 skins because of save issues or something like that. Everything's because of save issues. It could actually be something fairly simple. If we go back and have a look over here, oopsie, lemony Jesus. We have Jingle Jam, which I mentioned. That was a single skin for a single dinosaur, and yet it still made it onto the list. So it's more than possible that there is just a little one-off like that on the way for Jurassic World Evolution. That to me actually might be the most logical solution of them all, because at the end of the day, if we've got the Christmas DLC, i.e. Jurassic Park 1993, and we've got a dinosaur pack in the next 4 months, where are you going to fit another big DLC? It's only 4 months until Christmas, 4 months until we get this 1993 DLC as far as we know. Say a dinosaur pack in a month or 2. Are you going to fit another decent sized DLC in there? I don't know, unless we get another pack or something very, very soon, which I don't think we will because I don't believe Jurassic World Evolution is being featured at Gamescom. I would bet on the other DLC being something small or being Battle at Big Rock. We'll have to wait and see if we get another release date for Battle at Big Rock, and if we get a date of, say, October or November or something like that, we can probably hazard a guess that that will be what that other DLC is. It's probably not something like this, however. It's probably not a sandbox update. Stuff like that tends to be free, and it tends to come out with the dinosaur packs. I believe we are going to get sandbox for every island, or I'm a hopeless optimist, which is something I've been called a little too much. But we don't know. We really don't know. I don't think it'll be anything like that. I don't think it'll be a building pack or something like that. I think if they're going to charge us, it's going to add dinosaurs. That has been the case so far, and I feel like a building pack or even a skin pack to an extent seems a little unlikely. I think if it's an official Frontier DLC, it will add more dinosaurs to the game in some way. I'm not saying that's how it should be or has to be, but I'm saying I feel that's the direction they're going to go in. I'm leaning towards the Jingle Jam idea so far, but that will depend on when we get Battle at Big Rock, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. I will of course let you know as soon as we know. The fact that these two are being worked on means we may be able to find new files in Jurassic World Evolution. If that is the case, they will inevitably come out over the next few days and weeks. I will keep you abreast of that as soon as I can. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video and found it informative and educational, so you got some edutainment from it, that's a great word, then it's also a very well-known word, then please do hit the like button. It really does help. I really appreciate it. Leave some comments down below. What do you think these 3 DLCs are? What would you be most excited about? I am hopeful we get some news soon. We haven't heard a bloody thing since Claire's Sanctuary came out. I understand that Frontier are probably very focused at the moment on Planet Zoo, which totally makes sense. I really like how this looks behind the text. They're probably very focused on Planet Zoo. But hearing nothing for 2, possibly 3 months by the time we do is maybe a little bit too much in my opinion, so I'm hopeful we get some news fairly soon. Thank you for joining me, cheers much love as always, bye bye. Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to help support me a little bit more, you can do so at patreon.com/bestinslot. There's a link in the description down below. Every little really does help in times like these, but it's not at all expected, and by just watching the video you've already helped me out massively, and it makes you a pretty cool person, so well done you. Thanks for joining me either way, I'll see you next time.